Huge prize for whoever lifts the trophy tomorrow night. £250,000, and of course still the tantalising prospect of $1 million if you can make a 147 and pot the golden ball. Judd Trump against Mark Williams promises much. Of course, this is a rematch of their ranking final here in Riyadh last season, when Trump produced one of the all-time great clearances from the brink of defeat to deny Williams on the final black. So hopefully more of the same this evening. And Williams afforded an immediate chance for the red into the centre, but it's not worked out, so that chance falls to Trump as we welcome former world champion, 4 times ranking event winner last season, Kyren Wilson. Kyren, commiserations for earlier. You didn't get much of a look in, but you're still here, happily for us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Obviously, I love this game, and any opportunity to take part, whether it's playing or commentating, I'll seize the opportunity. So, yeah, fantastic game to commentate on. As you mentioned there, this was the rerun of the ranking event that Judd sort of stole from Mark Williams, didn't he, in the end, making a fabulous clearance. So hopefully we've got another nail-biting match here.
Yeah, it wasn't just the fact that he produced that 70 break, it was the manner of the break, wasn't it? With awkward reds that he had to promote from the side cushions under extreme pressure, with £500,000 at stake to boot.
Yeah, incredible, really, and it sort of shows what a great champion Judd Trump is, making a clearance like that under pressure. And as you mentioned, there was so much on the line, £500,000. Won't be pleased with the way that one's turned out. Looking to cannon the red first and push the black towards the left corner pocket, so safety shot coming up here.
It's not been quite as straightforward for Trump this season, of course. He's yet to win a title in this calendar year. You have to go back to pretty much this time last year when he won his second UK, beating Barry Hawkins in the final for the last time Trump lifted a trophy. Of course, he was runner-up just last week at the Champion of Champions to Mark Selby, and previously to Jack Lisowski in that thriller in Belfast at the Northern Ireland Open. Mark Williams already a ranking event winner this season, of course, having won the Xi'an Grand Prix so impressively at the expense of Sean Murphy in the final.
Yeah, he's such an incredible player, isn't he, to be doing it at the age of 50. And he kind of does it in his own unique way. It's kind of very laid back, almost carefree. But I think don't be completely fooled. I think Mark is still very, very hungry for success.
That made him the oldest ever ranking event winner, of course. He turned 50 in March. John Higgins joining him in the half century in May. Of course, he's bowed out earlier to Mark Allen. What a battle that proved to be. And Ronnie O'Sullivan gets to the big 5-0 next month. He too took an early bath at the expense of an inspired performance from Murphy on the first day. And of course, if it hadn't been for you, Kyren, Judd Trump's already very impressive season last time out would have been a whole lot better, because you beat him in 3 finals.
Yeah, as I've mentioned in many interviews, he kind of makes your job very easy. You know, if you don't play well, he's going to beat you quite comfortably. So yeah, I always enjoy the challenge of not just playing Judd, but playing the best players in the world. And, you know, I don't think he's doing too much wrong, to be honest with you. As you mentioned, there are 2 ranking event finals.
One thing he did reference after losing to Selby at the Champion of Champions was that he was struggling to adapt to his new ferrule. He switched from brass to titanium. Of course, he also changed his cue in September. So whether he'll make amendments, we wait to see. But that can be a difficult transition to make. We saw Ronnie O'Sullivan struggling in that regard at the Crucible. I think he switched mid-match, actually, and then back again against Zhao Xintong.
Yeah, it's crazy, really. There's so many different variables, so many different products on the snooker market nowadays, and I think titanium is definitely one of the best on the market. But the problem that you have with a titanium compared to a brass ferrule is you get used to a certain trajectory that the cue ball is throwing off and completely change the way you aim the ball. So yeah, it's no quick fix. So as I mentioned, I don't think Judd's doing too much wrong. Okay, he's not won a tournament, but to reach 2 finals in today's standard of play is an incredible achievement still.
Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? That is a surprise. He looks a bit perplexed to see that pink stay out, but 22 of his 30 ranking.
Few years now, so one thing I would say to take into consideration is the volume of travel that we have to do nowadays. I think that certainly takes its toll. I noticed that Judd wasn't actually at the opening ceremony day for this tournament, obviously getting to the final in Leicester. So, okay, there's only a 3-hour time difference compared to the UK, but it's still a 6.5 hour flight, so I'm sure he'd be pretty tired. So, needs to get off to a good start. I must admit, though, I'm a big fan of watching the way Mark Williams goes about his business, kind of almost like a bit of an old school style of play. Just flicks a few reds out at a time, plays with a super hard tip. You can kind of hear the acoustic when he hits the cue ball. It's almost like a stone, but I'm a big fan of his product, actually. I've been using Mark's tip for a while now.
He made the semi-finals of this tournament back in December of last year, the second staging, losing to eventual runner-up Luca Brazil. And he clearly enjoys playing in the Kingdom. Of course, he made the final, as we mentioned, of the ranking version in 2024. Quarter-finalist this season, losing very narrowly to Elliot Slesser.
Yeah, I did notice, although I didn't have much time on the table earlier, the table is very lively. I think Mark had quite a big bounce off of the previous brown that he potted there, so having to get the mini butt stretching over. I think he's just about on the pink. May just play a little cannon into the cluster of reds off the top cushion. That old school
Mark Williams
mistake of taking your eye off of the pot, focusing on the cannon. So it's presented Judd Trump with a fantastic chance.
Trump leads the overall head-to-head between this pair, 13-8. Of course, Williams exacted some revenge for that narrow loss here in Saudi by winning the World Championship semi-final, 17-14. Having at one stage trailed 7-4. Trump had opportunities to pull further away in that match, but Williams overhauled him very impressively.
Eight.
And I might be speaking out of turn here, but pretty confident that's another different cue that Judd's using. Grain definitely looks different compared to the one that he was using in Leicester, so perhaps that was the reason for him missing that pink early on. Maybe slightly different throw. Certainly looks different to the one he was using in Leicester. Maybe reverted back to his old cue. Who knows?
Yeah, he originally said that he felt he'd lost a bit of power with the old cue. But as mentioned, after losing to Selby and acknowledging, by the way, that Selby thoroughly deserved to win, he was the better player throughout the week, that he was actually struggling to know where to aim. And that was a combination, I guess, of
18.
the change of ferrule, plus still adjusting to the new cue that he had at the time.
19.
Well, if you look down the cue, it's actually miscoloured. Got two different colours up the cue. So it's definitely different to what he was using. It's almost like a darker orange compared to the top. But to be honest, I never understood why Judd changed. I'm saying he lacked a bit of power in the previous cue. I think we're all in trouble if he lacked a bit of power with the previous cue.
Yeah, if he has any more power, then that is a potentially scary proposition. Slight wardrobe malfunction here.
Must
He's got a hole in his pocket.
Or something. There's an opening somewhere on top.
Do you know what? This is a problem that I find without wearing the waistcoats, because we put our chalk in the waistcoat pocket. The amount of times your chalk can slip into your trouser pocket and you can't pull it out because your hands are quite sweaty as well whilst you're playing. It's quite funny.
As if there isn't enough to think about, try to pot the balls. Another excellent crowd in today for this second day of 3.
Wow, very close to that double there. Tried to play as a shot to nothing. 3 reds together clearly don't pop to the middle, so it's just a case of whether or not this is a thin cut to the right middle. Mark just coming around to have a look.
Wow, that was close. It's been a pretty scratchy opening frame.
Misjudgment there, didn't want to be anywhere near the cluster of 3 there.
1.
As I mentioned before, the table was really reactive, so played that last red with a lot of left-hand side, which changed the trajectory of the cue ball. Just now presented Judd with this fantastic chance. Yeah, I think this event is definitely on the rise. As a player, I've noticed it's a huge improvement to last year. More in attendance in the crowd. I feel like there's more of a buzz this year around the game and around the golden ball.
One or two head shakes and
15.
quizzical expressions from Trump, but it's pretty close to nailing this first frame now. Inevitably, it's going to take a bit of time to adjust to the conditions.
16.
And it's little shots like that, I think, if the cue is different to what he's been using, it's the little feely shots that you've got to readjust to. Just wanted to nudge that black on a little bit more there.
Well, that was a frame ball barring a snooker. 37 the lead, 35 left, so not quite done yet, but Trump certainly looking good to take a 1-0 lead.
JUdd Trump, 23.
The winner, of course, to play the winner of our final quarter-final that follows this match. Sean Murphy, fresh from that excellent victory over Ronnie O'Sullivan against the reigning world champion, Zhao Xintong.
Good effort there from Mark. Might find himself in behind the blue here off of this shot. Couldn't quite get to the right hand side of the red, so I don't think this frame's quite over yet.
One of the many attributes of Mark Williams is his ring craft, his cleverness at the table. Such a complete player, but strategically right up there with the best.
Yeah, and he'll be playing a similar shot to the last one. Trying to roll in off one cushion in behind the black. Just caught it a little bit too straight. Lovely shot there from JUdd.
Well, that surely kills off this opening frame. Both players feeling their way into this match.
JUdd Trump, 1.
I think Mark's just checking the bounce of the table.
Foul. JUdd Trump 5 can conceal his
Typically
frame.
left field, Mark Williams shot
JUdd
to
Trump.
end the opening frame, but it's JUdd Trump who's taken it.
Thank you. The second
JUdd
frame,
Trump.
Mark Williams to break.
Who won 2 ranking titles last season and the Shanghai Masters. Up against Mark Williams, who became the oldest ever ranking event winner by winning in Xi'an this season. Also, the first player to win a title in every decade from his teens to his 50s. That's some achievement. But it's Trump who has the first frame. A few errors from both, just getting to grips with the table. That's possibly an area of Trump's game which, at its best, is deadly, is long game, which hasn't quite been there this season. And of course, if that's the case, Karen, you're not creating as many chances for yourself to score as you would normally do.
Yeah, and chances are so few and far between now with how good the players are. And as I say that, Mark's going to present JUdd with his second. But again, going back to the whole cue change and ferrules, and it's just changing the aiming process on all of, especially your long stuff, playing with side over distance. That'll make JUdd feel an awful lot better. It was a little bit heavy on that one. It's had a slight big bounce, but he was playing on the red just above the black. And taking that one, it just frees up the black spot completely. Probably going to have to play it for either blue or bulk colour off of this one now.
Seven.
Trump compiled 107 centuries last season, the first player to achieve 100 hundreds twice in a single campaign. And there's a very significant incentive for so doing now, of course, £100,000 bonus for anyone who can repeat the trick this season. Sean Murphy currently top of the tree in terms of centuries so far this campaign with 35.
10.
Still an awful lot of snooker to be played.
Yeah, and the way Judd just hit that yellow, playing for the red above the black. It's the best shot he's played so far. Judged it to perfection, and now he's got the black spot nice and clear.
70.
Good opportunity to score a few here, and as you mentioned there, you may as well call the £100,000 bonus the Judd Trump
18.
bonus, because he's been the only player that's managed to achieve that feat. Be looking at a way into the pack of red shortly. So he'll be thinking 3 or 4 shots ahead and planning his route to leave the red at the bottom of the pack.
26.
And using that to try and burst open the pack of reds. So wants to land low on this next red. Having to play on it in the left corner pocket. Just had slightly too much angle to screw
30.
past the red. But still got the angle to bring a few into play. It's not
34.
worked out great. Unfortunately, pushing one to the side cushion, and I thought he might have just maybe stunned into the cluster there just to try and promote a few more, but by the looks of it, it's only the red on the right side of the cluster that Judd can play on. I think he may have to play for it into the yellow pocket. And the beauty with this shot is he can't leave anything. It's only the red that he's
41.
playing that he can leave, so it takes a little bit of pressure off of the shot. Can either leave angle on the pink into the middle or black. And was able to fully commit to the pot, knowing he wasn't going to leave anything. May choose to screw into the cluster here. Yeah, that was kind of...
Trump, 42.
That was kind of rushed. Didn't look his normal sort of smooth self through the ball there.
Had that gone to plan, every likelihood that Trump would have doubled his lead. As it is, Williams with a very presentable chance here to get right back in the frame at the very least.
Yeah, and he's perfect here to promote the 3. Just a soft little nudge into them.
Mark Williams.
Very surprised Mark's missed that pink. He's normally very, very good with the rest. I'm not going to lie, I'm sat here watching this thinking I didn't have a chance today, and I've seen plenty so far.
I don't think there's any doubt that Neil Robertson has produced the performance of day 2 so far. He didn't put a foot wrong, really. A couple of centuries, a couple of other frame-winning breaks.
7. 8.
Well, it could have been a hurtful miss from Trump, the pink to left centre, but he can now completely forget about that. This frame is at his
40.
mercy.
$15.
56 the lead, 59 remaining, so just this blue, another red to make doubly short with a 2-0 lead.
$20. 21.
Not the start that man had in mind. A few errors from him we wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, and the problem you have is on the cannon.
Judd Trump,
The
27.
red stays
and
out,
the frame.
but there's only 51 left, and that's not nearly enough for Mark Williams' liking. So Judd Trump, without really sparking as yet, has nevertheless moved into a very handy lead. He's already halfway
Cue the
scoreboard.
third
Maybe
frame.
not quite so with
Trump to
how
break.
he's played today, but Mark Williams has made quite a few mistakes, some of them uncharacteristic, and so Trump in control at the moment. But as we know, in a best of 7, the momentum can shift pretty violently, pretty quickly. That said, Williams needs to find something in this third frame. Not one to panic, though, I think it's safe to say. I don't know what Williams' pulse rate is, but I think it barely registers out there.
Yeah, and I think that red tells you all you need to know. Gets down and knocks along red in. I think that's why he's had such a successful career. Doesn't let too much bother him, win or lose. Yeah, that wasn't easy. Cue ball just ran on slightly further than he would have wanted. Just making the browns slightly thinner, having to play that with a touch of left-hand side, so just turned it over. Again, a really good chance for Judd.
Very rare to see Williams down at 60% with his pot success. Last night, Ding was under 50. He really struggled against John Higgins. Still early days, but
8.
if Trump can make something substantial here, what a position he'll be in.
9.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the table seems very, very reactive and quite lively off of the cushions, so it is hard to get adjusted. I think John Higgins alluded to it last night as well. The table is certainly higher
17.
than what we're used to. You can see a bit of packing under the table legs. As you get down for your shot, it's a bit strange just adjusting to the height of the table.
$24.
Judd take the opportunity here just to open up the reds. Play off the left-hand side of the pack. He's playing on the loose red. I think in Judd playing off the loose red, he'll be perhaps leaving the red at the bottom of the pack and using that one to open the cluster.
32.
Yeah, just got the right side of the blue, so there you see the packing under the legs. You can see they're slightly higher than what we're used to. Yeah, and Judd's played that perfectly.
37.
Just landed low on the red there, so in potting this should promote a few more. Playing up the table for a colour. Yeah, it's nicely played, and with the brown being over the yellow pocket, he knew if he lost the cue ball at the table, he'd always have that as second choice. And this is where you see Judd's cue power. Not sure what sort of angle he's got on the brown, but playing with lots of screw back, lots of bottom right hand side. Reverse side off the cushion, and there you see that taking you down towards the reds. Timed that very well.
42.
I think that'll give him a lot of confidence striking a shot as well as he has done there. Maybe not so much that one, but should be okay. Playing in between the pink and the green off the top cushion, and he'll be looking to play down towards the red just above the black. Yeah, judged that one very, very well. Back in prime position, looking good for a 3-0 lead now.
49.
Could have been very different had Mark Williams been able to punish Trump's miss pink in the previous frame, but he missed immediately with the rest. And then that awkward cut on the brown at the start of this one.
56.
But Trump growing in confidence now, and he's a very fine front runner. And of course does his damage very quickly when he's in
57.
full flow. This frame's only been going 6 minutes, and already Trump on the cusp of winning it. This red should suffice.
65.
It's crazy when you look down the line of Judd's cue there. You can see the two different shades of
71.
the wood. You see there, it's kind of
72.
almost as if he's taken the varnish off of the top of the cue.
$79.
As you see, just under Judd's chin.
80.
Seems to be adjusting to it pretty nicely.
87.
I think, as Judd mentioned in his interview before the game, love to get a win under his belt
88.
in this tournament going into the UK Championships, which is just around the corner.
Yeah, qualifying starts this weekend, and of course the serious
92.
business at the York Barbican gets underway a week on Saturday. Mark Williams scratching his head. It's not been his evening so far, and he's going to have to find something pretty quickly now if he's to get back into this. Trump playing better by the shot.
93.
And closing in on his 29th century of the season. An even century from the world #1, Judd Trump, completely dominant so far this evening. Mark Williams has been well below par.
Mark Williams to break.
Yeah, I was pretty confident that he was using a new cue. I think all the players are quite aware of what each other are using, and yeah, Oliver Lyons, I'm sure he'll appreciate me mentioning, has confirmed that that's his old cue.
So far, it's doing the trick, although it must be said that Williams has been out of sorts so far. He's had chances, but they haven't amounted to anything. Williams' highest break just 13 so far.
I think that's a shot that you'll find quite interesting during this tournament. I think a lot of players are intentionally maybe aiming towards that golden ball just to flick it off the cushion slightly. Yeah, needed cover there, but just flicked the brown, so left a long pot for Judd. Just coming round to look to see if the black will go into the same pocket. I think by his body language, it doesn't go. And that certainly helps the players. Having many people in the crowd just creates a little bit more atmosphere. Gives a little bit more tension to the players. Really going to have to force this one. Yeah, had to play that at pace. Has he got away with it?
Certainly could have left something more straightforward than this for Williams. And he's got no rhythm, has he, in his game at the moment, Mark Williams. He's had a few chances, but he's not been able to string a few pots together to get a feel for things, really.
Yeah, I know Mark has made it very aware to people about his eyes, and I think he was second guessing himself on that shot as if he didn't believe it went, but obviously overcut that red, so clearly did.
One.
Judged that one very nicely.
4.
I think the red just above the black will pass to the right corner. So that'll already be in
5.
Judd's mind, just to clear up the black spot. And there you see the red goes. I think the black just doesn't pass the red. If he can land straight on that red and screw back for the black into the same pocket, I think Judd will be away here. And that's worked out very nicely, bringing the pink into play. You can play onto the pink off of this red. I'm sure he'll be looking at trying to clear the black in the next couple of shots. Yeah, judged that one very nicely. So ideally he'll be wanting to play on the red just above the black, try and land straight on it. And that looks pretty good. Yeah, he's
70.
absolutely perfect. Now I'm playing this red. They're all there for Judd.
18.
Trump has been so used in recent seasons to winning very early and therefore building a lot of early momentum in a season. This is quite a novel feeling for him, having gone as long as he has without a trophy, almost a year.
25.
By his stellar standards, it's been a frustrating campaign today.
26.
Obviously complicated that little bit more by the change of equipment and, for the time being anyway, a change back. But it's surely only a matter of time before everything clicks for him once again in the way of a title.
30.
He's been a serial winner over the last half dozen years
34.
and more.
Yeah, and I think it just shows
41.
you what sort of winning machine Judd Trump is. You know, 2 recent finals, and that's not good enough, so
42.
time to change the equipment to try and get the win. You know, there'd be a lot of players on tour that would certainly take 2 finals in quick succession. You just can't beat that winning feeling.
It's the 11th tournament of this campaign, and we've had 10 different winners so far.
Yeah, crazy standard. I think the volume of maximum breaks this year kind of says all that you need to know about the standard of snooker nowadays.
45.
Yep, 14 already. The record set last season. 15. So that is surely going to be
46.
eclipsed with half the season and more still to play. But this is looking a little grim now for Mark Williams. It just hasn't happened for him tonight. He had
53.
a couple of opportunities to score in the first frame, and then again when Trump missed the pink in the second. But Trump
54.
has grown into this match. He's begun to look confident. And he's pretty close to finishing the job in clinical fashion. We've only been going 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think if you see a 4-0 scoreline, you'd think it's been all one-way traffic, but Mark has had his chances.
59.
And only 20 points to show for them in the 3 frames, plus this one.
60.
I'm sure he'll be shaking his good friend Stephen Hendry's hand after this game if it goes 4-0. I think he mentioned at the start that he can't see any game going 4-0 tonight.
I think he'll be getting some stick from the 7 times world champion, that's for sure. But this has been impressive from Trump. Yes, there were a couple of missteps earlier in the evening,
65.
but inevitably it's going to take a bit of time to adjust, and he's done that very well.
66.
And the job is done. He's made light work of this quarter-final, Judd Trump. He's taken his chances very well.
$73.
The 3rd player to achieve 1,000 career centuries, just pipped to 2nd place by John Higgins. Neil Robertson has joined that very
74.
exclusive club since this season. But he is such a heavy scorer. And he does it so quickly.
$79.
Could be the cue for a bit of naughty snooker.
Yeah, that's definitely his old cue.
He can't beat the highest break of the tournament so far. That was a 1-3-3 from Neil Robertson earlier against Kyron, but
90.
this has been a statement of intent from Judd Trump.
Yeah, and I think that yellow,
91.
sorry, I think that yellow is going to make him feel so good. He struck that so well with so much side. Cannon worked out perfectly. It's looking like back-to-back centuries.
He loves playing here in Riyadh, doesn't he? He produced that miraculous clearance
97.
to win the $500,000 in last season's ranking
99.
tournament at the expense of Williams. And he's got the better of him again this evening in pretty emphatic style. Clinical stuff from the world #1 Judd Trump, who has brushed the challenge of Mark Williams aside. Williams mustering just 20 points as Trump breezes to victory in under 50 minutes.